got my homegirl, Jenna Lemoncelli. You see her on the 7 Footers podcast with our guy, Gerard Hector, also New York sports and entertainment writer. Jenna, what's up? How you doing?
Dexter, I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. Congratulations on your new show. I love it. And
Thank you.
Looks so good. Everything looks so great.
Thank you. You know what? We gotta come correct. We gotta look good. You know. And speaking of looking good, Jenna, there's some new NBA City Edition jerseys out there. Some of them are looking really good. Some aren't looking really good. Are you like me? Are you excited for these jerseys each year now that we get to see them when they come out? What's the level of excitement for you around these jerseys?
I'm really excited for these because it's a fun way for the NBA and Nike to hone in on their partnership that they started in 2017. And that's exciting because the NBA, especially the NBA and its players, love fashion, and they love to show out. And some teams really impressed with these jerseys, and some teams really didn't make the mark here. So I have my favorites and I have my busts per se. So I'm excited to get into it, but I am excited overall about this.
Yeah.
It's great that it's the 75th anniversary too. So it's a great time to drop them, and I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, and so with it being the 75th anniversary, Jenna, a lot of times, teams with the city editions, they're trying to incorporate some kind of feeling or artistic design within from their city. But with this one, with the 75th anniversary, the teams are supposed to, give a little bit of a look back to the past, which we saw. Okay, what do you want to start with first? You want to start with the ones we liked or the ones that we didn't like? Should we get the bad ones out the way? Should we do that?
Let's get the bad ones.
All right, let's go. Let's get the bad ones out the way. All right, give me one. What was one of the ones that you had for your worst City Edition jerseys?
I think this is more of like a blanket opinion, and I also saw our guy Brian tweet about this that they didn't even try, which that had me cracking up. OKC,
yes, they did not try.
The all-white jerseys, again, like the description for this partnership and the jersey drop was that, teams were going back and like taking memories and doing, paying homage to the team's history per se of, just amazing accolades through the years. And personally, OKC, I don't understand what they were paying homage to here. I don't understand. And that glaring love patch from their sponsor is just, it takes away everything because it's the only piece of color on the jersey.
Right. And you know what, Jenna, I was trying to give them a little bit of a pass because I just, I was like, they don't have much history coming from Seattle to OKC. So I'll give them, but I just think these are awful. Like the all white, I'm with you. It doesn't work. I don't like it at all. So yeah, I'm not with these at all. This was one of mine. So Jen and I picked 3 each. This was one of my worst ones that I thought. So I'm with you on the Thunder. We have some overlap there. I thought it was horrible, it was awful. I'm with my man Brian Fonseca. I don't even think they tried. Doesn't look like they tried at all.
Definitely not.
All right, next. So you also, we got yours up here on the screen. You also had the Nuggets. Right? The Nuggets went with this royal blue. They got some of the colors from the ABA days on the side. Why did you not like the Nuggets City Edition jersey?
I didn't like the Nuggets City Edition because I didn't like where the was on the sides of it. And then just the front, the font just didn't get me. I wasn't about it. And this is more of like a design stylistic standpoint. So I'm sure a lot of people don't agree with me, which is fine. But I wasn't for the design. It just, I don't know. And the font, I wasn't for it. Again, the colorways just didn't get me on the side and like the way they were placed. That's just me though. Again, not trying to knock them, but like, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I don't think this one was quite as bad as, OKC, where we felt like they didn't try. I know what they were going for. They're going for the 80s look, the Alex English era jerseys. They were the colorway on the side. This is one, I don't know if you feel me on this, and this kind of reminds me of Phillies jerseys, Jenna, but do you think this would have been better if it was a white jersey? 'Cause I just think with the navy, which is my favorite color, I just didn't think it worked here.
I agree. They should have called OKC a little bit and been like, "Hey, can we borrow this colorway?" Because I agree with you. The navy is just too much for me. And you're right about the Sixers. The font is really similar to the Sixers, which again, let's be a little different here. But yeah, the white. I think you're onto something though. You should hit them up and be like, "Listen, can we
I don't
redesign
know.
this?"
I don't know if they're listening to me, Jenna. I have no idea that they're going to listen to me. All right, let me give you one I didn't like either. I thought was pretty
Yeah.
awful. The Cavs, the Cavaliers. So here's where I'll give the Cavs some credit. Okay, they go back to their red and wine colors, which I think has always been a pretty popular look for them. But then what the hell is going on in the middle? Like the circle lettering around there. It's small. It's kind of all up in the chest with the two. Nah, I like the color. I just don't like the logo presentation execution here. I mean, if
Okay.
you're a Cavs fan and you're buying this, I mean, there's a lot of things to be embarrassed for in Cleveland, but you don't have to wear this. You don't have
I agree though. That center logo, I can't even see what even is it?
to. Our producer Greg says it looks like a high school mascot, something a high school mascot will wear. Yeah, you don't even know what it is. You have no idea. It's like I, I'm not here for this. Was one of my worst. I just was like, no. This it looks
That
like,
looks like
it kind of looks like the Hoosiers jerseys, which would have made more sense for like the Pacers. But yeah, this was just this was a no-go for me. I take it you're not
okay.
going out to grab the Cleveland Cavaliers City Edition jersey anytime soon,
Definitely not. Seeing as I'm a LeBron James hopping fan, I
Jenna.
left the Cavs back in the past there.
All right, so you left them there. Well, they should have left this jersey in the past. That's for sure. They should have done that as well too. Okay, and then you also had our last two that we didn't like. We both had Florida teams. I had Orlando, and you had the Heat. Let's start with the Heat. The Heat they did a lot with their jersey. I mean, there was a lot going on there, Jenna. Like a lot, maybe doing too much. What did you think about this jersey?
I love Miami, and it pained me to put them on my worst jersey list, but I wasn't for the little like taking the different fonts or different. It looks like they took a magazine and like took different letters and placed them together. And don't get me wrong, it kind of looks dope, but see the M right there, the blue M. I was
Yep.
kind of hoping they went flashy and like it's South Beach. Give us like a hot pink or like something cool. Like I see what they were trying to do, but like it's Miami. This is your time to show out, be flashy, live up to your name. Jimmy Butler is your face. Like, let's go. Give me some colors. Give me something exciting. Like I was hoping for like a neon. And again, I know they've done that before, but like when you
Right.
think of Miami, it's like flashy, splashy, everything.
I wonder for them how much of it is. You talked about that, Jenna. They did those Vice jerseys before that were great. The series of them, like I love those jerseys. They were fire. But
Yeah.
they tried what I read this explanation was they tried to take a piece of all their different sort of jerseys before, and that's what they did with the lettering
Cool.
across the top. Except it looks like a suicide note, which is I don't think is really good, or a ransom note, I should say. Not really a
Fancy
suicide note, but
note.
like a ransom
Fancy
note.
note.
Yeah, ransom note.
That's
Sorry,
the word I was thinking of.
not suicide note. Apologies to that. But your ransom note, it looks like that. And it's just, I don't know. It just looks like it's all thrown together. I'm not a fan. And Miami usually gets this right. Like they usually get this right. So that's why it's a little bit, I think, disappointing for them. Now,
Right.
I also had the Magic, Jenna. Let's keep it in Florida. I had the Magic as well. And so they tried to stick with their pinstripe look, but they brought in some orange and gray. These aren't even your colors, Orlando. What are we doing here? I don't know. Maybe do you like this one? I'm just like, no.
Yeah. I love the logo. Reminds me of like Shaq, old school. Like, don't get me wrong, really into the logo, like that they have that. But the pinstripes match Houston's pinstripes, which I don't like anyway. And you're right, the colorway. What's with the colorway? What are we doing here? Are we the Phoenix Suns or what's happening here? Like, this is a no for me as well. Your worst picks are definitely like an extension of mine as well.
Yeah,
Completely.
I know we had some overlap with the Thunder just being god awful, but yeah, these were just like I don't know. Some teams, it seems like some teams don't take this seriously, and some teams really do. Like their design departments, their marketing departments are really into this and how this is supposed to look. So we never know. Now we talked about the worst. We got that out the way. We don't have to talk about these horrible jerseys anymore. That is some good ones. And you and I, again, we had some overlap. I know we talked about this. We had two teams that we both agreed on here. I know one of them is the Nets. I love the Nets jerseys. Brooklyn killed this. Okay, I love it, and we saw it on the court last night. It looks great. What I know you love it too. What do you love about these Nets jerseys?
First and foremost, I am, you know me, I'm a Knicks girl,
Yep,
but I have to give the Nets all the credit in the world. They are my number one favorite jersey out of all these city editions because
same.
it's the old school New Jersey Nets. I mean, if anybody watching does not know the old school New Jersey Nets, that was the era of Jason Kidd, everything, that entire time in Jersey was amazing. That was my first NBA game, fun fact. And it just made me feel nostalgic. It made me feel so happy to see this. I'm so glad they did this and paid homage to that time. And Jason Kidd is the first NBA player I've ever met. I met him at my first game, which was the coolest experience. I
Huh.
love the colorway. I love the fonts. Again, this was personal for me, but I'm so into it. And the Nets are also playing very well in these jerseys and have been rising up in the East. So you can't complain about that either.
So I love this because the city edition last year, the Nets going to those turquoise jerseys that were from that early 90s era, Drazen Petrovic, they did that. I love what they did here. They kept the logo of that with Nets across the chest. So they took that from there. But the other thing I love is that they took the colors from when they played in Long Island in the ABA, the navy blue with the red, white, and blue, the stars on the side. Like, and then on the shorts, if people haven't seen, they have like a little, it says Brooklyn Nets and it's got the borough of Brooklyn in there. I thought the Nets, just the colors look super clean. I'm a sucker for navy when done right, Denver. When done right. I'm a sucker for navy. I love that. But with the white, it looks clean. It works well. They combined all the parts of their eras together perfectly. Yeah, I agree. You said this is the best. You like this the best, right, Jenna? Because I like this. This to me is the best of all the City Edition jerseys.
My favorite, absolutely.
Yeah, this is my favorite. All right, what else did you like? There's another team I know we had overlap on, but who else did you like?
I like the Pistons. We don't hear a lot about the Pistons,
We
but
don't.
I enjoyed their jerseys. The font on the front, it was Detroit to me all the way, and I was just a huge fan. I love the shorts, like the little, what do you want to call it, like a bolt, like a lightning bolt, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like a
Um,
lightning bolt there. Yeah.
I love it. It's just clean to me. It's not too much, and it's not enough. And I was about it. Big fan of those shorts, though, for real.
Yeah, this one I was shocked at. Detroit kept it simple, I think, to me, and
Yep.
going with the red. I didn't love it, but I don't hate it. It was just one of those ones that was in between for me. But like, I think it's a good choice. They didn't mess anything up. They didn't go away from their history or their colors here. It was really nice. You like the lightning bolt. I would have liked to see them play off of something from the mid '90s with the old school Grant Hill horsehead piston jerseys. I would have liked that, but I think Detroit did a solid job here. I thought they were okay. Here's one where so we both you had Detroit and I had one that we didn't have the same. I love the Hornets jerseys. Love the Hornets jerseys. I loved how they used the honeycomb in it. I love the teals transitioning, the script lettering. It's a throwback to when they came into the league in 1988. I love this. I talked about this with Rod Boone, who I had as a guest on the other day. I think they killed this. They knocked this out the park. I talked with a friend last night who he hates it. I think his disdain for it is they also tried to put in the pinstripes as well too. We've seen a lot of teams do that. The Rockets, which I know my producer Greg loves, is pinstripes are tough, Jenna, right? Like people either really love them or they're not for them at all whatsoever. Like some people really like them or some not. We got Wesley checking in on YouTube. He said Nets brought it back to the New Jersey days, agreeing with us. He loves those Nets jerseys as well too. So yeah, the Nets jerseys seem to be really popular. People really like them. Did you like the Hornets one at all? Was there anything that bothered you about the Hornets? Did you not like the pinstripes? What do you think of this
I
Hornets
did
jersey?
I did like the Hornets. I like your choice. But the only thing that got me was the pinstripes. I
Mm,
love, love, love the honeycomb. And I think that was
yeah.
absolutely the icing on the cake for them. The only thing I would do without is the pinstripes. I do think that they are one of the most how do I put it? More the one of the most modern designs. This is something the ombre, the honeycomb,
Hmm.
the colors, the flashy colors, the font. This is totally modern day for me. This is design heavy. And I was super into it. I love the logo too on right down on the shorts too. But the honeycomb
Yeah.
really got me with this. I think they're super unique and super good.
I actually do agree with your critique there. I do think if there was one thing I would take away from those jerseys, it would be the pinstripe. I think it was a little bit much. They didn't need that. And yeah, pinstripes is like either it really hits or it does hit. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of the thing. Now, the last one where you and I both agree on, I want to hear what you have to say about this. I love these Raptors jerseys, right? Love these Raptors jerseys. What do you love about these Raptors jerseys? Because I really like them.
Man, the juices must have been flowing in that design meeting up in the six because, and Drake must have been present because these jerseys are dope. They have style written all over them. They have Drake written all over them. I love the all black and gold. They're bringing back the old school Tracy McGrady logo on the front with the Raptor, and the font I really love. It's edgy. It's cool. It's so Toronto. I love the colors. Of course, they're modeling after their OVO colorway
Hmm.
that they rock on the court, and that's of course a nod to Drake. But this won me over, and I love a good like black complete uniform, and this gets me. The gold is so great. I have no complaints. The logo on the front though, the mascot, chef kiss. Love
I'm with you on that, right? Because I love everything you said hits. I love the OVO colorways. I love that.
it.
I really love the throwback to the OG Raptors jersey and having the dinosaur on the front dribbling the basketball. I still think there was a lot of cartoony logos in the 90s, but this is one of the best of them that I like. And so I think they also too just had a great job of taking their past along with the modern look of what they're going for and just blending it together, capturing the city of Toronto. I think people up in the six, you're going to see a lot of people up in the six and around definitely rocking this jersey. I like this. So Jenna had the Nets, Pistons, and Raptors. I had the Nets, Hornets, and Raptors as the jerseys that we like. So check them out. All the jerseys, I mean, it's nice. I always like when they drop these. It's always interesting. I still sometimes think we have too many jerseys, but it's nice. Some people going to look fresh on the court. Some people, you're going to want to turn away. Okay, see, I don't need to see y'all in those. Cleveland, I don't need to see you in those or whatsoever.
They're not particularly teams that we're going to be watching much of. As Gerard would say, they're not a league pass team.
Not a
So
league pass team. Fair enough. That's fair. That's fair enough. All right. You and Gerard, always on the Seven Footers podcast. You guys are always talking about a lot of news and notes, everything going around the NBA. One of the things I heard you guys talk about early in your first couple of episodes was that top 75 list as you return for this season. There was a lot of talk about that, Jenna. Some people not happy they were on the list. Some people ecstatic to be on the list. What did you think of the list? And was there anybody that didn't make the top 75 list and you were like, damn, that's a really bad omission?
right. Well, I mean, anytime you come out with a list, it's going to be controversial, no matter what. I mean, you can't please everyone. So that's that to begin with. But the list, I like how they kept the original 50, because I mean, you can't just take people off and then, put them back. It just doesn't make sense. So I like how they keep adding to it. However, was what, only 25 names added to the list, which it's hard to pick. It's really hard to pick out of a lot of people. However, I will say the biggest glare out of that the was Dwight Howard missing. I
Yes.
know he could
Yes.
be, talked about in certain lights and certain ways, but look at the man's resume. I mean, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer, is going to be a Hall of Famer, and that just did not make sense to me whatsoever. And of course, you had Clay Thompson, who was left off the list, one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen pick up a basketball, and he had a problem with that. He aired that out on Instagram. But those were the two big names that I did not agree with being on there. Also, Tracy McGrady, not on the list. I mentioned him
Mm.
before. He wasn't on the list. Dikembe Mutombo, just certain names that I didn't really understand. But again, you can't please everyone. I was happy with who made the list. I think I saw somebody tweet If you're unhappy with the list, you have to say who you would remove before you say who you would put on. And that's a challenge. That's hard.
It's hard.
Um, it is hard. So again, I have to say though, Dwight Howard, biggest snub for me. I don't agree with it, don't understand it. Somebody pull out the man's resume. I don't know what you're judging, but that was completely missed the mark for me.
Yeah, I think for me it was. I definitely agree with you. Dwight Howard was my biggest snub. There's no way that he should not be on this list. Like you said, look at his resume, body of work, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, led a Magic team to the finals where he was clearly the best player. Yeah, and you're right. Forget what you think about him off the court. How some people think he could be a goofball, all that other stuff.
Right.
The man's resume speaks for itself. He's one of the best centers to ever play the game. He should be on the list. I would have personally liked, though, Jenna, one of my things was I know they kept the 50 on. I would have liked to have seen them just start from scratch. I don't think everybody that got on the 50 still deserves to be there. Things change, things evolve. So you got to take some people off. But, yeah, we'll see. But I like T-Mac's a guy, too. I think well deserving, like you said. So, we'll see. When we do this again in 25 years, and when that'll be 2046. We'll see. We'll see what we think about that. Jenna's like, oh, Dad, I didn't want to think about that already. Didn't want to think about that list
God, oh, so many more grays.
already. I gotta ask you this before I let you go, Jenna. What's going on with Scottie Pippen, man? I know you're already tied. You're always tied into the world of sports and entertainment, and Scottie Pippen is out here keeping things real messy with Michael Jordan. It seems like every time he's promoting something, he was promoting was a rum or whiskey early in the year, and now he's promoting his memoirs and he's taking shots at Jordan. What's going on with your boy?
Oh man, Scottie is my boy, but man, he's talking spicy up in here. I mean, listen, let's be real. You and I are both in the industry. We get how this game works. He's got to sell a book. He's got a book coming out. You got to make that money. You got to make that shmoney. I get it. But you're coming out here with serious, serious accusations and spicy terminology about Michael Jordan. Let's just take a pause. Michael Jordan. I
Right.
get it. You were upset about The Last Dance and how it shaped the way people and number two and this and that. But homie, you sat on the bench and didn't play because you were mad. When you remember that very important game that you did that, but that's fine, whatever. But really, and again, The Last Dance, it was produced by Michael Jordan. It was to tell Michael Jordan's story. He wasn't going to give you a spotlight in that. It's Michael Jordan. Come on. Let's be serious. But the things that he's saying, homie's got to take a step back. Let's not take away from his role on the Chicago Bulls and what he did in the NBA. But man, you're coming out how many years now and saying this just because, again, what? Are you selling a book? Are you really mad? Like, where is this going to get you? What is this going to get you to go up against Michael Jordan? I don't get it. I think he's, again, maybe he's drinking that whiskey that he's selling or whatever, but I don't understand why you got to do that. Why you got to do that? Don't you want to be celebrated? Why do you have to create a feud? Is what I don't get. Let
I
the book speak for itself. Let the book drop.
I
But
agree. But like you said,
like I
it's all about that money. It's all about that promotion. Look, you want that sports entertainment mix up? Follow my girl Jenna Lemoncelli. She does all that great work for the New York Post. Also, Footers podcast every week with our guy Gerard Hector. Jenna, thank you so much for joining me on the NBA Exchange. Appreciate you, sis.
thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep killing it. I love it. I watch it all the time. I love you, Dexter. You're the best.